In this video, we are going to be talking about what's going on in the NFT market, some major updates by some of the biggest projects, as well as some upcoming hype mints you do not want to miss out on. Now, if you're ready for this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's go ahead and dive right in. First thing we're gonna look at is going to be the crypto market. So everything's looking kind of red, right? But then it's only going down like a couple percentage. So when you're really looking at it over the past 7 days, it's pretty much been trading sideways, a lot of up, a lot of down, a little volatility. I guess people can trade within these gaps, but nothing crazy going on in terms of like things pumping or dumping. First thing we got to cover is some news on Otherside. Now, Otherside is going to be under Yuga Labs, and they recently just dropped this trailer. There's going to be something called Legends of Mara, which is a standalone 3D experience powered by ApeCoin. Originally, when I saw this, I thought it was Asian, but what I learned is that it's actually their own created language that they made up that people are trying to decipher. So this person, Atari, he did a little digging to like match these letters with English lettering and the numbers. And so in the end, he's guessing that it says the shattered vessels, right? He's still looking for that V over there, but he's guessing it's vessels. Also 10K FT, which is another project that was acquired by Yuga Labs. They have another teaser over here, but they had like this constellation thing and it said meteor. So they're definitely teasing a lot of things, and in the Web3 space, these riddles and everything like that really get people excited, especially about upcoming mints and whatever the case is. In this case, it's going to be some kind of 2D game. And I think the most important thing here is they're trying to drive more buy pressure and demand for ApeCoin, right? And so they're saying that Otherside's Legend of Mara is going to be using ApeCoin. So people are going to be like, should I buy more ApeCoin? Just like how Yuga Labs with the whole Bored Ape ecosystem had Dookie Dash. Now, if we look at the Yuga Labs website, we saw the treasure chest, we saw the teaser for the Jimmy the Trial, we get the sewer pass, right? So the passes are selling on OpenSea. The game is over. So what's next? So this is actually pretty cool that it's a clear like roadmap, I suppose, or just chain of events that's happening. I really like how every action step they're going to put it there so people feel like, oh, they're doing something. I think a lot of projects are going to take inspiration from this because it's kind of like just showing people that you're doing something. And even though everything's kind of building towards that Otherside game where it's going to be this whole big metaverse, there has to be something in between. And I feel like they're doing a really good job, Yuga Labs in general, in making sure that every week there is something going on, right? And you can argue that doing these like Dookie Dash and things like that are not the highest effort, right? These are kind of like mini games, but you cannot deny that it gets people talking, it gets people bullish, right? If you kind of compare that to, let's say, the artifact ecosystem, even though they're launching teasers and stuff, there's not a lot of activity going on besides the space pods, and people are not super bullish right now on artifact, right? And I feel like if they kind of just change the narrative, it's really all narrative at the end of the day, then potentially people will suddenly become bullish, right? Speaking of artifact, they recently came out with this news where if you have CloneX and if you're onboarded into their website .swoosh, you can claim a blade, right? What will it do? Is there utility? What's going on? Not really sure, but that's pretty much what it's going to look like. It's not really that like bullish news for CloneX. I mean, it's just like getting people onboarded into their ecosystem. Even though like Nike and Artifact are doing a lot in terms of trying to build a marketplace and uplift creators and everything like that, there's also this side of like Web3 where people kind of want free money. They want a narrative to play. They want free airdrops like a sewer pass. And I feel like in Web3, you got to balance both of doing things that are long-term Web2/Web3 where you're actually building an ecosystem and onboarding real brands and things like that. But at the same time, the holders need to be happy. They need to feel like something is happening. They need these free airdrops in order to keep the momentum going. It's funny because Artifact, they dropped so many things from the space pods, the monoliths, the animus eggs. They dropped so many things that were for free. And if you bought a CloneX since mint, you're definitely up if you sold all of the airdrops. But it seems like people tend to forget all those things that happened, or maybe they're not as appreciative, and then they want the next thing. And the people who are entering the ecosystem, like let's say now, they're like, I already missed all the stuff, now I want more. So there's like this weird place in NFTs where people are always demanding free money. Is that really healthy for the space? Pretty unclear, but to drive the most attention and to be perceived as blue chip, that's what people are looking for, right? It's definitely not easy to be a blue chip project. It comes with a lot of things, but hey, if you want to be number one, that's how it goes. Now, obviously the whole NFT space and the PFP space, its own separate niche, but let's go ahead and go into different use cases into NFTs. And we're going to go ahead and talk about Reddit, who has taken a whole different approach. So they did this collaboration with the NFL. And as you know, the Super Bowl is coming up real soon, and they're going to be offering these free NFTs, right? So if you basically go on the website, you log into your Reddit, and then you're going to be able to mint an NFT, and it's going to be on Matic, right? So that's Polygon. And so far, it seems like 1 million people have one of these things. It's eyeballs for the Super Bowl. It's eyeballs for Reddit. So Reddit gets more people to go on their platform. Super Bowl gets more eyeballs. So then the value of their brand in terms of like the sponsorships that they have are going to increase. So overall, just a win-win. It's free marketing, essentially. That's how I see it. It's really doesn't cost that much to like create these kind of NFT projects, right? And the best of all, even if these projects go to zero, it doesn't matter because it's free and there's no real resale value. Maybe there will be one day, but it doesn't matter because it's just pure collectible. And I think that's the future moving forward, where people implement NFT technology into their overall business, not necessarily trying to be a blue chip 10,000 PFP, because I think that's one particular use case that is cool, but it's not for everybody, right? Reddit doesn't need a 10,000 PFP collection. They could do this and it hit the mainstream. And so different ways to use NFTs. Now let's talk about things that aren't as mainstream, and that's actually going to be Ether Orcs. So Ether Orcs, if you were into NFT space like last year, they were one of the most popular on-chain games, right? On-chain meaning like everything is on the Ethereum blockchain and stuff like that. And then there has been an announcement with Poof, which is one of the co-founders of Ether Orcs. They have decided to stop developing Ether Orcs and they're going to be shutting this down. Now the servers are going to still run for a while, but they're saying that they're going to shut everything down eventually, right? So it's unfortunate because this was actually a pretty cool project where they did a lot of things on chain, a lot of innovation, but it seems like there's just not enough players playing this game to make revenue in order to pay the staff to continue to build the game. How much money did the founders make, and did they make money in different ways? I have no idea, right? And I think that kind of shows that like if you do something very niche, like an on-chain, very obscure is not really the right word, but like very on-chain niche kind of game, just understand that like there's a possibility there's not enough players playing your game and it may not work, right? And so keep that in mind for any Web3 gaming projects coming up, because there's a nice narrative of like, hey, we're all on chain, right? But will the regular person actually play? And that's always the question. And the last thing with Ether Orcs is that eventually they're going to open source everything so people can build on top of what they already have, and they're going to make it public, open source. So if you want to check that out and you're into on-chain stuff, make sure to check out Ether Orcs. So right now, the whole idea of having a Bitcoin NFT is popping off on Twitter. People are trying to get onto this. There's no real like infrastructure to buy and sell these things, so a lot of it has to be over the counter, meaning you are buying and selling with an individual, not a marketplace. So Rare Ordinals, from my understanding, is a platform where people can view your Bitcoin NFTs, and a lot of these are going to be like one of ones, right? So to actually create a Bitcoin NFT and the whole mechanics of it, I think that should be a whole separate video because it's quite complex and there's no clear, simple explanation. But there's a lot of things you can do, like buy a node and this and that in order to create a Bitcoin NFT. But just know, so right now, Bitcoin NFTs are kind of popping off. People are kind of FOMOing in, paying a lot of money, thousands of dollars for these NFTs just because it's like first. So I just kind of want to put that on your radar for you to do more research. And then maybe in the future video, when there's more information available on how all this works, I will cover that for you guys. Next project we're going to be talking about is going to be the Louis Vuitton collaboration, and they're going to be offering 10,000 NFTs. Louis Vuitton, and I'm going to just call it YK. They have been collaborating on a lot of things when it comes to luxury merchandise, but now they're actually doing an NFT. So the price of this NFT is going to be 4 ETH, which may make sense because they're selling luxury product. So it's not clear if you're going to get a physical product or if you're going to be able to burn your NFT to get a physical product, or if it's going to be just digital. But 4 ETH is going to be a pretty high price. So I'm curious. I'm going to follow along, see how this goes as they release more information about this. But if this is successful, we 100% will see more luxury brands doing these type of collaborations, doing these NFTs, because if they are successful in doing what they do and selling 10,000 units at 4 ETH, that's going to be around $64 million. That is a potential really great revenue source for these luxury brands selling digital and physical products as NFTs. So with that said, that's everything we got to cover for this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to learn more about the Parallax community, make sure to check out our collection on OpenSea, where we're going to be talking about the latest alpha, and we have academy sessions as well for builders and founders or people that want to have insights on the NFT space. So check out that link in the description for our OpenSea. With that said, that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.